finery, but you probably don't think of grime, soap scum, or bathtubs that take servants hours to fill. Yet for Queen Elizabeth I, her hygiene habits remain shockingly foreign to modern sensibilities. What seems disgusting today was often considered pragmatic or even health-conscious back then. Let's step into the past, into the smoky, scented, and at times toxic world of the 16th century hygiene. Cleanliness in the Tudor age was nothing like what we expect now. Running water, almost non-existent. Showers, unheard of. For the average person, bathing might mean an occasional soak in a barrel or a scrub with a damp cloth. Many believed that immersing the body in hot or even warm water opened the pores, inviting disease or bad air. In that environment, what counted as cleanliness was relative. A quick face wash, a change of linen, or some perfumed water might be considered adequate. When it came to Elizabeth, the story becomes especially curious. Sources suggest she did bathe more regularly than most. But regularly, by Tudor standards, doesn't equal regular today. She reportedly used a portable bath that traveled with her from palace to palace, and historical accounts claim she bathed perhaps once a month. But even that wasn't a relaxing soak. Servants drew hot water, filled tubs, helped her wash with cloths soaked in pewter bowls, and then perfumed and powdered her skin. Why this avoidance of frequent bathing, even for royalty? Partly it was practical. Heating water, hauling it, and refilling tubs was laborious and expensive. But partly it was also a health belief. Many physicians at the time argued that frequent or hot baths opened the pores and exposed people to disease. That belief had real consequences. For many, full-body bathing was reserved only for times of illness or rare occasions. Not weekly, not monthly, but sometimes every few months or even years. Because bathing was rare and water was precious, hygiene took a different form. Faces, hands, and feet might be washed daily with soap or scented water before meals. Linen undergarments were changed and washed often. Outer garments less so, but to cover the smell of sweat, stale air, or unwashed bodies, people relied heavily on perfumes, scented gloves, incense, potpourri, and spiced handkerchiefs. Aromas were more than luxury. They were survival. Now this is where things get darker. The cosmetics and skin whitening practices of the time were often toxic. For the aristocracy, pale skin was the ideal, a sign one didn't toil in the sun. To achieve it, many used lead-based makeup, notably a substance called Venetian ceruse, a white pigment prized across Europe for its opacity and smooth finish. Historical accounts suggest Elizabeth may have used it, or something similar, regularly. The consequences, as modern science shows, were severe. Chronic lead exposure can cause skin damage, hair loss, poisoned nervous systems, and some wonder whether long-term use contributed to early death for many aristocrats. Her dental hygiene, too, was tragic by today's standards. Elizabeth reportedly cleaned her teeth with cloths, possibly using vinegar, wine, honey, or herbal concoctions rubbed on with cloth, and later chewed sweet confections to sweeten her breath. Sugar, new and rare, was a luxury, but it eroded dental health fast. By the end of her life, her teeth had reportedly blackened and decayed. Hair and body care followed the same trend. Hair wasn't washed often, probably because water was scarce, and frequent washing was believed to weaken the hair and open up dangers. Instead, wigs, powders, oils, and elaborate styling were used. Court ladies and even the Queen herself changed hair more often than bathing body. Perfumes and scented garments played a big role, and sometimes were vital. Elizabeth reportedly scented her clothes with resins and fragrant plants, used perfumes, rose, musk, herbs, and avoided anyone or anything that might smell bad. For her, scent was part of her public persona, immaculate, untouchable, regal. For a monarch whose power depended heavily on appearance and mystique, hygiene was less about cleanliness and more about illusion, image, and domination. If this all feels horrifying through modern eyes, bad skin, poisoned makeup, rotten teeth, minimal bathing, that's because it was horrifying. But at the time, these were accepted norms, or even considered advanced for someone of Elizabeth's rank. The gruesome side of history tends to be sanitized. We forget that in the past, surviving disease, lice, and bodily smells was part of life. The death of morbidity was common. Still, if these were the norms, does that mean Elizabeth was dirty? Not exactly. By her era's standards, she was probably considered relatively hygienic. She washed what she could, changed linen often, tried to smell pleasant, and avoided the worst extremes that many common people endured: shared bath water, cesspits, constant smells. Many Tudor-era people did far less. Bathing might have been once or twice a year for a peasant, if at all. The fact that Elizabeth at least had a portable tub and servants washing her body suggests she lived above average hygiene, relatively speaking. But what did that hygiene cost her? Materially and physically? Lead poisoning from cosmetics, decayed teeth from constant sweets and poor dental care, skin and hair damage from harsh powders and oils, vulnerability to disease because frequent bathing was seen as risky, and perhaps most tragically, the illusion of purity that came at the expense of real health. It's worth remembering that the hygienic standards of the past were shaped by the knowledge, or lack of it, at the time. Germ theory was centuries away. The link between cleanliness and disease was vague, based on beliefs about bad air, miasmas, and spiritual impurity. So people did what they could. They washed hands and faces before meals, changed linen, used soaps made of olive oil or animal fats, and bathed before important events or during sickness. What surprises me, looking back, is how much of what they considered good hygiene actually aligns with modern common sense. Washing your hands before eating, changing underwear, linen regularly, keeping hair combed, maintaining garments clean. These rudimentary hygiene practices likely prevented some diseases, even if not today's standards. What makes Elizabeth's hygiene even more fascinating is how deeply it mirrored the anxieties of her age. The late 1500s were a period obsessed with order, political, spiritual, and bodily. People believed the body reflected the soul, that physical imbalance revealed moral weakness, and that visible disorder invited divine punishment. Cleanliness wasn't just a matter of appearance, it was tied to the cosmic order. A queen who appeared pristine represented stability in a world constantly threatened by famine, plague, war, and political intrigue. Even her questionable hygiene rituals were a form of maintaining cosmic control. The irony is that many of the very things she used to project this immaculate image were contributing to her decline behind the scenes. Her thick white cirrus makeup didn't just make her face pale. It cracked, flaked, and seeped into her pores, leading to lasting damage. Yet instead of abandoning it, she layered more and more onto her skin. The more damage it caused, the more she needed it. It became a cycle. Flaws created by the makeup were then covered by the same makeup. This wasn't vanity. It was the pressure of image, the weight of monarchy bearing down on her, the fear of showing any weakness that could embolden rivals. You also have to remember that Elizabeth ruled in an era when gossip was political currency. Every rumor about her health could destabilize alliances, fuel rebellion, or make foreign powers doubt England's strength. Ambassadors wrote home about the state of her teeth. Courtiers whispered about her hair loss. Poets and pamphleteers exaggerated her beauty or mocked her aging body. With so many eyes scrutinizing her every move, Elizabeth clung to any ritual that allowed her to preserve even the illusion of youth and vigor. Hygiene for her was not simply cleaning, it was armor. Inside her court, her ladies-in-waiting were trained to manage her appearance with military precision. They heated her perfumes over low fires, brushed powder through her wigs to keep them full, ironed linen undergarments to absorb sweat instead of washing the heavy gowns, and prepared herbal concoctions meant to sweeten the breath. These women were not just servants, they were custodians of the Queen's public body. Every morning was a production. Every evening was a reset. Behind the closed doors of Elizabeth's chambers, a small army worked to stitch together the image the world expected of her. We often imagine Elizabeth walking through her palaces in immaculate gowns, untouched by the grime of her era. But the truth was different. Her dresses were elaborate traps for dirt, sweat, and bacteria. Layers of fabric that locked in odors. The court's heavy use of furs made it even worse. Fur was warm and luxurious, but it absorbed every smell it touched. Combined with the Queen's perfumes, the result must have created a constantly shifting scent profile. Sweet, smoky, dusty, animalistic, floral, and frankly sour. In a strange way, this mixture became the smell of power. Anyone who approached the Queen would inhale a wave of conflicting scents strong enough to block out the stench of the palace around them. Her aversion to bathing wasn't laziness, it was the medical advice of every physician she trusted. Cold water was thought to disrupt internal humors and cause imbalance. Hot water was believed to weaken the body and invite fever. Even brief immersion could be seen as dangerous. Physicians told her to avoid opening her pores, especially during outbreaks of plague or sweating sickness. And so she washed her hands and face selectively, relying instead on linen shifts that were changed frequently. Linen was considered self-cleaning. The fabric absorbed oils and dirt, and changing it was thought to draw impurities out of the skin. The idea of soap as we know it simply didn't exist yet. The mixtures used were harsh, irritating, and often corrosive. So when Elizabeth famously said she bathed once a month, whether I needed or not, she wasn't joking. She was following the best medical guidance available. And compared to the majority of her subjects, she was practically a hygiene pioneer. Many people in her kingdom would go an entire year without bathing. Some never bathed at all. Even her dental issues were emblematic of the times. Sugar had just arrived in Europe in large quantities and was considered a luxury. It was rare, expensive, and therefore tied to status. Nobles consumed it constantly, in cakes, candied fruits, honeyed wines, sweetened medicines, and decorative sugar sculptures served at feasts. Looking back now, with modern knowledge of medicine, germ theory, and sanitary science, it's easy to judge, easy to cringe. But maybe the more important thing is to understand context, that what seems disgusting now was, for centuries, considered reasonable or even advanced. And in that light, exploring Elizabeth's hygiene isn't a spectacle. It's a window into a world both foreign and foundational, a world where survival, illness, appearance, and power were deeply entangled.